We've been doing movie nights for
years.
a Gen Xer and
A Gen Z. Random weird moments that the two of us have experienced, and there are a lot of those.
And he crashes them.
As you do.
It's like, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, where did this come from? Why are we singing?
I mean, you're not going to learn anything about the movies listening to us talk.
This is the Argo City Podcast. Film, conventions, and fan life with Maddie and Matthew.
So, let's talk about Thunderbolts.
Yeah, so we just got back from going to see it in theaters at
Amherst Cinema.
At Amherst Cinema,
And
yes.
actually, let's talk about what it took to get you there, because we just had Free Comic Book Day over the weekend, and I hit my two preferred comic book shops. It's Comics Are Go, which is in Sheffield, as well as Carol and John's in Cleveland. But I mean, especially Comics Are Go. They also do the Neo Comic Con. And then at the end of the day, I headed out to see the movie because Amherst Cinema is our local cheap theater.
Yeah, we love them. They're great.
Tickets are $5 for all showings, but there's only one screen.
Yep.
And yeah, it's kind of been the regular theater for us. So I went, and nobody wanted to go with me. So I just went alone. And because it's Free Comic Book Day. And I do like some of these characters, and I wanted to see what this was going to be. And as soon as I got out of it, I texted you, you have to see this.
Yes, I was at work at the time. And even funnier, speaking of Free Comic Book Day, when I had gotten out of work around 6, I had popped over to what's it?
Heath's Comics,
because it's right by my Burger King.
Right, and that's an Elyria institution at this point.
Yeah, I had popped in there to grab some comics because I knew I wasn't going to be able to get around to any of the local ones. And I was grabbing the 3 that I found, and then I saw a poster for Thunderbolts. And I was kind of at the point, I don't really care about this movie, but I'm going to grab this poster because my dad's going to love it. I really hope he didn't already find it. And you literally told me they hadn't given it out, so I managed to find one that you hadn't gotten.
Right, it's up right now, actually, recording the library, and it's right next to my Free Comic Book Day poster from Carol and John's. So, but I was kind of surprised, actually, that you weren't interested at all, because this is Yelena's movie, and we like Yelena.
Yeah, Yelena's cool.
The MCU's kind of been running on fumes for
a while.
Since before lockdowns, and I'm critical of it. I don't like really much of anything that's come out in the past few years. We had such hopes for Black Widow.
We did. Me and my dad, we were hoping for want to see more stuff of the Red Room, or getting to see some backstory with Hawkeye and Black Widow.
Give me a spy thriller with Hawkeye and Black Widow.
And
not what we got.
And we were so let down.
But Yelena was the best part of that movie.
She was fun in it,
and
yeah.
I even said that then. I liked her in that. Yelena's the best part of the Hawkeye Disney Plus series.
Yeah, I can agree with you there. So,
I'm on board with her leading a film.
Mm-hmm.
So, I did not like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But I did kind of like John Walker in that. I like U.S. Agent. I liked U.S. Agent back when he's back in the comics. I really liked the costume. I liked it when Captain America was wearing it.
Mm-hmm.
So, everybody else is kind of like, yeah, okay. And that was kind of your thing too. It's like,
yeah,
I know none of these people.
I know the dad, I know Yelena, and I know Bucky. And that was all I thought I knew at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, What is the point of this movie? I couldn't understand what the whole purpose around it was with these ragtag characters that have literally no connection to each other.
Right, or no real solid connection to the universe either.
Yeah, like they're all side characters. That's what they are. They're all side characters.
And they kind of tried to, early on, they were trying to sell this as Marvel's Suicide Squad.
No, you can't beat the original Suicide Squad.
But yeah, we have this unpopular opinion that we love it. You and I both love
The movie was great. How could people not love it? The second movie wasn't as good, but the first movie was brilliant.
So that's kind of what they were trying to say they're doing here. I don't know if they were or not. I really don't. This feels kind of like its own thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't quite put it in the Suicide Squad category, honestly.
Now, you said you said you came away with a bunch of
loving
a bunch of characters that you previously had no connection to.
No, like I absolutely love the
Ghost.
Ghost, yes. I remember really liking her in the Ant-Man movie. I don't know why. I really liked her then, and I still really liked her in this. Yelena's great. I loved seeing a lot of the stuff that Bucky was doing. He was really interesting throughout. Man. But Bob is amazing.
Bob.
They picked the name Bob, and like anyone of my generation
That's
just
right
gets
out of
that.
The comics,
it's just
though.
Really.
Sentry
Oh
is
my God.
Sentry is one of the main characters in New Avengers.
Named
I mean, we're
Bob?
talking. Yes, and that's what everybody calls him. He's very casual about it. The costume's dead on. The hair should be longer, but I mean, that was a whole thing. He's Marvel's Superman, and there's something a little bit off about him. And so that was a whole subplot in the comics. I liked seeing him come in here, and so that whole kind of casual, I'm just Bob.
Yeah,
that's the thing. They got it right.
Like I'm waving at the screen like, "Hi, Bob," and he was so much fun.
The people behind us must have hated us.
I'm sure they did. I was like, my hands were all in the air because I got my like talking with my hands from you. So like,
really, it was really in going on tonight. It was just.
Yeah. I had a lot of reactions to this because, like I said, I walked into this thinking that this was going to be a stupid movie, and I was so horribly proven wrong.
Right, and it's one of those where it's like, I can't make you go see it. I can't, if I push you. So tonight I told you, all right, you've got a choice. Pick from the box, or we go see Thunderbolts. But you're going to see it sooner or later. Because you have to. Because it's like, I know you don't believe me, but you're going to love this.
Yeah, and I decided why not? I could get out of the house for a bit, so we went to go watch Thunderbolts. There wasn't any other reasoning besides that. I just didn't want to like sit at home.
And I'll take that. And I'm trying to sell you. There's a little bit of Red Room in here, just little bit.
That's what clicked me. That was the entire reason. That was like one of the main reasons I went.
And I did. I was honest.
You were honest.
Only a little bit, but there's some.
But it was still like I want more than anything. I want a movie of just the training in the Red Room. That's all I want. Just give me that, and I'll be happy forever. And I'm like, I'm sitting through these movies. And I'm just getting like glimpses, and it's just like, oh, this is great.
I know. I've not been this excited about a Marvel movie. I don't even remember when. Like, Endgame was it. That felt like that was a good end.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even this excited for that.
Yeah. I still remember my entire youth group getting really pumped to go watch it, but I didn't know anything about Marvel back then, so I didn't go.
I think this is my favorite of like the MCU, the Avengers kind of movies since Civil War. It's got a lot of that same feel to it. You mentioned too, like one of the characters okay, I know Bucky, and I like Bucky. I have never seen Bucky used this well before. It's the first time I feel like we got punch the air moments with him.
No, and he was
you
like,
literally did.
You could see him actively like using his character, like using his arm to bolt down the wire from the car, or actually actively having him use that training. Because we've only really ever seen him as a side character, and he really got a chance to shine in this. It's
the first time I felt like he was a real bona fide hero. Yeah. He's been walking prop for so much of the MCU, or he's been a MacGuffin.
And speaking of which, I have to ask, His whole thing with him being like a senator, is that like accurate to something?
That's out
like,
of left field.
I was
going to
say I don't understand where that even came from.
I don't either. It works though, and it gives him access to possibly the best supporting character in the whole film. The assistant.
The assistant.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
How much do I love the assistant?
She was great in this. Oh my gosh. There was one scene where they are like overwatching Bob because he had crashed. And her what's her name? Give me a second. DeFontaine. And she was like, she looked to her assistant and she was like, I never say it enough, but I don't know how you managed to make me good coffee in the middle of a desert. And I was just like, as you should, when she's asking for a raise. As you should. The people behind us must have hated me. But, like, seriously, she was one of the best parts of this movie. Watching her have her own arc with betraying her boss and going back to her boss and betraying her again. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I love her. She's great.
This speaks to just how really smartly written this movie is.
It is.
And we haven't gotten that. We haven't gotten that from a lot of Disney in years. They'll shoot multiple endings. They'll go back and do reshoots. They'll go back and do more reshoots. This, we didn't hear about any of that. We didn't hear about constant reshoots or problems on the set. They came in with a fully realized idea, a script that is multi-layered, has a couple of things going on at once.
Yeah?
Different plots, different ideas that all come together at the end just perfectly. And that also really keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, so, I think we should, like, really get into, like, the whole beef of this movie.
Well, because this was my second time.
Yes, you had gone to watch it previously.
So I'm watching you for some of this. And they establish right from the beginning, they kill one of the characters on the poster within 5 minutes of Taskmaster showing up.
I was going to say, we walked out and I noticed we had one less person and I was so confused.
Because Taskmaster gets a bullet to the head right there, right away. And that tells you all bets are off. Yeah, you can see her
I was gonna say,
right in the corner there.
She's still in the poster, but she's not visible.
Right, and nobody knew this was going to happen. But it tells you that anything can happen. Anybody can die.
Yeah.
So, when Bob takes 1,000 bullets to the chest, I have my hands over my mouth. I'm like leaning up in those super uncomfortable seats. And I'm just like, no, it's Bob! You can't kill Bob! There's a moment when Red Guardian saves a little child from a piece of falling debris. And then she's looking up at him, smiling, and then she's dust.
Oh.
And and I could see, and you feel that peril because they went there right away.
Yeah.
The fact that they could get away with that constantly, and that they could just roller coaster you through this whole thing.
I was very up and down during this movie. There was a scene. I forget specifically. Oh no, it was right after the group had split up after fighting Bob, and they're like walking off on her own, and Yelena's dad is following after, trying to call after her, and they have this brief talk about like what she was as a kid and like the kindness and like the empathy and stuff, and even being like someone on the, because I just want to say, because this is really important to me, that spoke to me on a personal level. And that really, like, because sometimes you need to hear like that kind of stuff. I didn't expect to get lectured and put into tears in the middle of the movie, but at least it made sense with what was going on in the rest of it, so I didn't look weird. But like, it was such smart writing that it spoke to me on an emotional level. And it was like, I'm usually a very emotional person, but like for it to, it felt, I'm gonna be weird when I say this, but it felt targeted.
Well, yes, because you're empathic. You have that. And that's a lot of what the kind of people that are drawn to you are in these same places, in some of these same very dark places.
Like, speaking of which, the entire movie follows kind of around the whole idea of depression and like people and stuff following them. And like, as you were kind of just saying, I seem to draw the most depressed people, whether it is by choice or whether it's not by choice. Usually it's not by choice. But, like, I have been in that situation where I'm like, you need to stop. I need to pull you away. We need to do something.
Yeah, and you've had to learn to kind of distance yourself for a little while sometimes. You come from a very depressed generation. I'm not being flip about that.
No, you're right.
Statistically, there's a lot more that, and we could talk all day about what the causes may or may not be. I'd rather right now talk about the solution, which is watching Thunderbolts. I feel very less depressed after watching Thunderbolts. But yes, you're right. The whole mental health idea. Some people have tried to be silly and say, "Oh, the real villain in this is mental health." And I feel like that's a little too simplified. That's almost trying to make fun of it.
And that's the thing. They have an entire scene where he's trying to beat down the depression. But it's not until he steps away and engages in his friends, lets his friends help him, things finally get better. Even at the end, he says, I can't really use the powers without him being there. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's always going to be in the back of your head. Even with them constantly saying there are good days and bad days, they did their research on this, which is more than I can say about a lot of mental health movies nowadays.
Well, and it's yes, because they didn't want to get preachy. They didn't get up on a soapbox.
They didn't.
They didn't have to beat you over the head with the message.
It's just there.
And that's something that Marvel has not gotten right in a long time. That's a lot of series have not gotten right in a long time. Oh my gosh, it's just there, and it serves the story.
Exactly.
And it serves the characters.
It serves the character, it serves the story, it serves all of that, and like it can go over like certain people's heads, but those that see it, they see it. Those that like talk to their friends about it.
You can choose to ignore it.
Exactly. And like those that know, they know.
And I would gloss over it in my viewing. For me, that's not the point, but for you it is. And so to be able to reach that level where, okay, so you can choose what you want to take away from it. I love that. Again, I keep coming back to how smart this is. How really, really well done this is.
It's so good.
I wish this had been sooner.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this in the car.
I felt like I needed this right after No Way Home. Or maybe a year later. But see, Marvel spent so much of those intervening years since Endgame trying to figure out what to do next. Trying to figure out how to reignite the universe, how to reboot it. And I don't think that this did that.
No.
But what they've been doing is they've been ignoring the problem. They've just been saying, "Oh, here's your new super." Oh, okay, that didn't. Here's your new superstar. No, okay. Well, okay, you're gonna love this one. Really? Okay. Well. What if Thunderbolts just runs straight into it and says, "This is a world without the Avengers. What are we gonna do?" It feels like the first time they've really addressed it. Like the first time they've really leaned into it. And I like it better. That felt real to me. I didn't feel that in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I don't feel that in Loki. I don't feel that in Hawkeye. I don't feel that in Miss Marvel. I don't feel that in any of it. I just feel them grasping at straws.
Yeah, and
this felt like it was focused. It had a purpose.
Yeah, and like it's so hard to explain just how great this movie was, or so hard to explain just everything in it that was just. There's so much here for everybody.
It hit all the beats. And finally, this is like when was the last time that we went to see a Marvel movie more than once? I think Ant-Man. I think the first Ant-Man was it.
Yeah, I think so. And, like, I'm gonna say something that you are going to disagree with me here, but, like, I haven't been, like, this excited or this into a movie since Black Panther 2. And I know you didn't personally, like, because I've always been a big fan of the Black Panther movies. I love Shuri. She is my girl. Once again, the inventor trope hitting me again. But, like, still, I loved that second movie, and I haven't been so excited about a movie like this since that came out.
You were excited for that, though, because you were invested in some specific characters. To me, I look at that movie still suffers from the, I'm not sure what to do next. We don't know where to go. And this doesn't. This knew exactly what it wanted to be. Yeah, I like a lot of these characters even better.
We get such fun dynamics between these characters. I love just like watching Bob and what's your Captain American hero's name again?
U.S. Agent.
U.S. Agent.
John Walker.
I love watching them fight. I am loving Yelena being embarrassed by her dad.
Oh, so embarrassed.
I love
so
Ghost.
embarrassed.
I
You
love
just see this cloud of dust rolling across the desert as they're running
honk,
away.
Honk, honk, honk,
And
honk.
she's looking and like, oh no. No.
I was laughing
no.
there. I was like,
No.
oh my god. I was so excited for that. And then you just have Ghost sitting on the side like, I don't know what's happening. And then Bucky gets brought into the picture and he's also like, I don't know what's happening, but cool. I really loved watching the American soldier, or the American agent, like, especially him taking charge with his like whole military background and such. And although the characters like fought back at first, they were still all following, and each of them had their own thing to bring to the team.
They do, and they also all have unique personalities.
True.
There's really something there that, in fact, I think the least developed is Ghost.
Yeah,
I
she
didn't
get
feel
enough
like I
screen
connected
time.
much with her at all, but man, everybody else, I can see. I will say this too, and this is something you may not agree with. I like Yelena better than Natasha. I enjoy her. She's not trying to replace Black Widow. She's very much something.
She's like her own thing.
She is very much her own thing. And I enjoy spending more time with her than I do with Black Widow, because with Black Widow, it felt like she changed her personality.
They changed her personality every movie.
Yeah. I couldn't connect with her. But with Yelena, there's just something adorable and charming right underneath the lethality.
Yeah. And it was really kind of cool getting to see her like experiences in the Red Room, because we only really saw Natasha's view there.
Yeah. And Yelena's trying to kind of take that place in the MCU right now. But I'm fine with it because it's somebody different. It's something different.
She's not trying to imitate. She's, as we were saying before, she's her own thing.
That was a great sequence right at the beginning there, too, where we got to see her jump off the second tallest building in the world.
Yeah.
She did that.
What?
She did that. The actress actually said, we have to have this. I've got to do the stunt. It's not going to work if I don't. So Florence Pugh, jumping off of that building.
Really? Like full-on parachuting, or?
I'm sure that there was safety lines and stuff like that. I doubt that it was the full-on parachuting, but I know she's talked about that just needs to be there, and it needs to be her.
Wow.
And I like her.
Good for her.
I like her in... I can't say enough good things about her in these movies. And then, yeah, that opening sequence is fun. Even if she's being depressed, it's still fun. Her talking to the guy who's bound on the floor. Her,
She saves the guinea pig. I love the guinea pig.
I saw that and I'm thinking, that's one of the reasons why I'm like, oh, she has to see this.
We used to have 2 guinea pigs, Yaya and Emily. So I have an emotional connection to them. She walked out of the building with them, and then way at the end of the movie, while we're going through this like sequence of like popular media pictures, everything from like homages to history, and like I'm like sitting there and I notice, wait a minute, we're on the boat.
Crossing the Delaware.
When we're on the boat with the guinea pig! I pointed it out to you while we were in the middle of it. Once again, the people behind us probably hate me, but like, I was like, it's a guinea pig! And I was like, I want them. They need to be a part of it.
We keep talking about the people behind us, and it's worth mentioning. There's about a dozen people in the theater tonight.
Yeah, there were no more than 10 of us.
But I mean, it's a Thursday night when we're recording this.
Yeah.
It's the middle of the week. Who is going to see this in the middle of the fact that we had that, I mean, it was a packed theater Saturday. The fact that there's still a dozen people there on Thursday actually says something to me about that. And just the quality on this. The word of mouth is getting around. This isn't
some one-off thing that you can just ignore. Like, it's one of those, like, hidden gems, I feel like. It's got a bunch of characters that aren't really important to the MCU, that aren't popular. Well, I'm not going to say aren't popular, but, like, aren't, like, super, super relevant in that area. And you throw them all together, and it's just like this. It's this little hidden gem of, like, sidekicks.
Yeah, and the chemistry just... Everything
it
worked.
works. It just works.
Everything just worked. I don't know where they go with it from here. They're obviously setting up Secret War, and they're setting up Falcon continuing to put together whatever
Like
they're going to call
team.
the Avengers. See, that's where I'm looking at this and saying this isn't the rebirth of the MCU, but man, I'm glad this exists. I really like this. This has got me excited for something else coming down the line, at least.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see kind of where this one goes.
I think that's about all we've got for Thunderbolts or New Avengers.
Yeah.
But this was fun. So we're going to put this one out actually ahead of some of our other ones, because I want to still talk about this while it's still in theaters. I want to encourage everybody, if you haven't gotten to the theater to see this, you should.
Please do.
Yeah.
Go watch it. It's great.
I mean, I'm sure it'll rack up views on Disney Plus, but no, go see this one in the theaters. This one's really worth it. It's the first MCU film in ages where, like I said, we're excited about it. We liked it. We had so much fun with this. Before we go, I do want to just give a quick shout out to the comic shops that we hit for Free Comic Book Day. There's my favorite one, my preferred shop. That's Comics Are Go, which is located at 5214 Detroit Road in Sheffield, Ohio. Then there's the one that Maddie went in, Keith's Comics. That's an old Elyria shop, and that one's located at 394 Broad Street in Elyria, Ohio. And finally, there's Carol and John's, kind of the center of comic book culture in the Cleveland area. They're located at 17462 Lorraine Avenue in Cleveland, Ohio. So if you've got questions about Free Comic Book Day, or you're looking for some place to get into this kind of stuff, I couldn't recommend better locations for any of that. So yeah, go see this, and we will be back to our boxes later on, although we've got a convention kind of this weekend.
That's right, we do have one this Saturday.
So we may have to throw out an extra.
An extra
again.
extra?
Yeah.
An extra.
All right, we will see you next week.
Bye.